Hey everybody, I'm Jon Lovett from Love It or Leave It, Pod Save America and the Internet. Today I'm joined by Halle Kiefer. She's on the left. Sarah Lazarus. Two incredible writers.
Thank you.
Behind Love It or Leave It.
Yeah.
Who,
Sometimes in front of it, right here. Right in front, right now.
Prop me up week after week.
If I could wear you like a mech suit on stage, I would. And I've said that out loud multiple times in this office.
I would not, but...
You're not strong enough.
Oh, no, your bones
too
would
heavy.
shatter.
And we're going to answer a bunch of questions that you've had about this show. Those are the ones we felt like answering and not the ones we didn't. All right, I'm going to throw it over to Halle, who's going to take it away.
Thank you, Lovett. All right, first up, how much of the live show gets cut for the podcast? What are we missing? I would say we're cutting minimal. I feel like, truly, I feel like we're cutting out the whiffs.
Yeah.
We're cutting out the riffs that don't land.
The occasional emotional breakdowns.
Yes, but honestly, we genuinely do keep
in.
those in. And I feel like that it's a cleaned up version, but you still get the live energy. But I think it's a good question because listening to us talk, maybe be like, oh, we missed a lot of stuff. If it gets a laugh at all, we're keeping it in.
Yeah, I think we cut. There's some things we cut that just worked in the room, but maybe were visual and that wouldn't play on the podcast. I mean, I'll sometimes take another run at a joke if I fucked it up. Or if I think the audience didn't appreciate it enough, make them laugh. I'll bully them. You'd be amazed how often I say to a group of people that paid to come see us.
Good money.
Paid to come be part of this.
American dollars.
American dollars. Not worth what it once was, but still pretty good. Pretty good. Which is an honor. I feel incredible gratitude that people come and see the show. And I will yell at them again and again. You are a tiny group of people compared to the vast audience that listens to this at home. You are a tool for the enjoyment of people that are the true audience.
Right.
And so I don't care if I have to take this joke again. You will laugh so that the real people, the humans, get a good experience.
And that crushes every time.
It does work.
People love hearing that. You did. I believe we cut it out last week. You called them small people. But I will say, I always think it's funny. I think it's funny when you turn on the audience because of how absurd it is. Like, it's just like you're doing a political monologue and then berating them. That's a funny combination.
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
And it's just for them. And then we cut it.
But in that, we're leaving it in. We're not. This is not a highly curated. I think the shagginess of the live show I do want to retain. I think that's what part of the fun.
Yeah, we do cut. There's also I will try something like in a rant or like in the monologue, and then I'll just be like, you know what? I didn't quite get it yet. Let's cut that and let's rework it and then do it again at a future show. That'll happen. And other than that, and then once in a while, a joke will just be morally bad.
Right. We'll hear it out loud and be like, we were wrong. That was on us.
Wrong. That was a bad joke. We have to take
some responsibility.
Like, remember when, we can give you one example, which is the example I go to, when there was that woman that had been coming week after week to make her pillow.
Yes. Yeah.
And then when she didn't show up, I said, I wonder what happened to that lady. Maybe she died in a mass shooting. Because there had been so many mass shootings at the time.
And to be fair, this was a couple of years ago. I think we've all learned and grown since that moment. Not our highlight, I think.
I believe, I actually genuinely think that that joke is ethically defensible because it was a joke about
it's commentary on the state of America.
Right. It's about how commonplace and quotidian mass murder has become that you can say in an offhand way, I wonder if she died in a mass shooting. But I would say the ratio of comedy to truth is not where you'd want it to be. Because
Did that get a laugh at all?
No.
Yeah.
No, I was alone. I was alone up there with my thoughts.
I want to say, if you were to say that in a conversation, I would laugh because I would be so absurd.
Yes.
But on stage, to hear the echoing silence, it's like, okay, we're not laughing at that today.
And I do also think that it was also, I learned something in that moment, which is, like, no matter what's going on, we all have a tiny bit of our brain attuned to the possibility that this could happen. And so just that little bit of your brain being attuned to that possibility makes it just not fucking funny.
Thank you so much. That question was from the Enviro Aggie. Thank you for that. Next one, I have a question. Oftentimes when Lovett is terminally online, PSA and lowly, he will tell the same joke. That's only when he's actually being recorded. It must happen more often than that. When Lovett finds a joke or something he likes to point out, like the plot of Indiana Jones not mattering, how often can you all hear it since you all work so closely with him? That's from Adrian Dittman, pro gamer. Elon, get out of the Discord. I love that this person clocked this and then was like, well, if that's how much I'm hearing it, you must hear it way more. And Adrian, you are correct.
Well, at least one more time. Because if it's in Love It or Leave It, it was told earlier in the day.
Yes. Usually you'll come up with a joke on Pod Save America on Monday. I feel like on Tuesday, I have been in a meeting. You come in, tell the joke. Ha ha hoo hoo. I'm still sitting there because I'm in the next meeting. A new group of people will come in and you'll immediately tell them the joke. And then once I hear it that time, I'm like, okay, I'm done with it. But it is a funny joke. Like I will give you that. You're not telling a mediocre joke 6 to 12 times. You know what I mean?
If it's working, it's working.
Yes, exactly. And that's ultimately why you are a stand-up.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's...
I feel like that's why you are a comedian, is like you want to see different people's reaction to the same joke.
Yeah, you've made The Office your open mic.
That's right.
And I respect that. Right. And I appreciate it.
That's right.
So I would say, how often can you all hear it? I would say multiple, 3 to 4 times more than you hear it. If that makes sense.
Well, yes. Although you're not hearing necessarily on Pod Save America, because you blissfully sometimes don't catch those episodes.
Oh no, but I'm always told later by somebody who worked on Pod Save America, just he used that joke before, and I'm like, I don't care. But it's funny because people are like, oh yeah, he said that a couple times already.
Just fucking snitches.
It's this is not snitches. We're co-workers.
Whatever you call it. Whatever you want to call it.
Up next, here we go. This is from Heidi. Behind the scenes question, how does Pundit improve the overall writing process?
Wow, quite an assumption baked into that question.
Yes. Wow. Liz, what is your take on this question?
Pundit does make very funny sounds, and so that's inspiring to me as a comedy writer.
Yeah, I would say Pundit has the run of The Office. I would not say that Pundit is a concentration tool.
Right, yeah.
She's in and out of meetings. She has basically meetings.
It's like she has the meetings, is what I'm saying. She's running the meetings.
And she has open door privileges. She basically comes in and out. I have tried to get a doggy door installed. I got to get that project back. If we had a doggy door so there's one big conference room in the middle of the office that we use for a lot, and it's right in the center, and so if there's any action outside, Pundit wants to go check it out. If we had a doggy door in that room, I feel like the number of times everybody has to be like, she's scratching. The number of Pundit interactions we have during a meeting would go down.
I feel like I don't know if I trust Pundit to know how to get a doggy door. I hate to say it like that.
I feel like at the closed door when the other door is open.
Yeah,
I'm comprehending. So
yeah.
You calling her stupid? Is that what you're saying?
Kind of.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Stupid, but also a little bit power mad because she knows that we'll open the door because we will. So she's like, I don't have to do anything. I'm going to stand here and go like this.
Pundit.
And she's right every time.
Pundit has worked here
longer than
anyone in this room. She was here first.
I was going to say she'll die last, but I don't know what that means.
I hope
not. Up next, this is also from Heidi. When exactly did Lovett realize that his true passion was for being bullied by guests? And then Eliza G. added to that, yes, our guests explicitly instructed to be mean to him.
Well, I think it's time you tell them what you tell guests before the show begins.
Once you're on stage, you have the control. And I tell this all the time. Only like the fun guests that I think would actually, that'd be the funny dynamic. I'm not telling like I didn't tell Adam Schiff that. He just took control naturally. But like he's
just an alpha.
He's that alpha like Adam Schiff, as we call him.
No, but absolutely, I think like that you back on the reason that this happens so much is both because it happens naturally and also like it's a very funny energy for you to have somebody come in and just take over the show. It's one of your funniest like spaces to be in as a comedian.
Well, I also like it because I have I have strong personality, if that comes across. Maybe it doesn't. I think I have a strong personality. And so it is such a relief for me to have somebody kind of be a strong personality to match me.
Yeah.
And sometimes that plays out as we kind of go head to head, but sometimes it's kind of fun to just let the train go over me.
Absolutely,
yeah. That's just a different energy for the show. Because so much of the show is me kind of like...
Yes.
Like, I feel like Love It or Leave It, a lot of the times it's like, I'm kind of like muscling it together, like making sure the audience is on board and making sure the guests are getting brought in and like making sure these segments are working. And like, I just feel like it's a lot of like pushing, like it just takes and I like doing it's not bad, but it's just like that's the energy. It's like making this happen, and then every once in a while like a guest comes and just takes it's like fine.
It's so funny. Yeah, I feel like late night, because it is a late night show, that's the format, is like it is about a person pulling it together. You are a showman, And it's very funny when I remember Lunell came on. It was like, I think it was Lunell, who's like, is this a radio show? Like, just people come on, or Wendy Malick was like, I thought this was Jon Lovett's podcast. That's funny every time.
Every time it's funny.
Because we put so much work in, and because we've done it, and then the guests show up and they're like, what is this? I'm like, that's funny every time. And what I think is enjoyable watching you is because you have a little stinker energy, your little stinker moon, is that it also delights you. Like you also think that's funny when they do it. Like it pops your balloon in a way that you clearly enjoy. So we don't even have to tell them. Like I feel like this is just naturally part of what happens.
Well, someone like Lunell, John Leguizamo, like any of these people that are just stars, they know, they feel it.
They can do whatever they want.
Remember when we got off stage and Chris Kattan turned to someone and said, was this recorded? It's like, yes, my friend, that was the goal. That
I
was
believe
the
he
whole purpose.
maybe even said, this isn't being recorded, right? And I think Ari had to be like, yeah. It all worked out, but a very funny moment. It's like, well, too late now.
I do like the idea of so many famous people receiving the details of where to be in and at what time, and then getting to that location, and then not until they're on stage asking, sorry, what is this?
And I want to be clear, our producers give these people information throughout the week. Any question they could possibly have is immediately answered for them. And so many people are like, I'm not going to go ahead and read the email because I am a star. I don't need to.
Well, I think a lot of the like the bigger stars, the bigger names have tended to come on the show when they're in the middle of a press tour.
Right.
And it is not unsurprising that this would be at the tail end of the press tour or they're in town because they're doing Kimmel or something like that. They're like, that is like the kind of tent pole of whatever media tour they're doing. And so their PR person has given them a document with 40 things, one of which says Jon Lovett. At least half of them just immediately picture Jon Lovett.
Yeah.
And then they show up and it's a shocking show to be a part of.
I agree, yes.
Like, because you just don't, you're sitting backstage, you think you're there for an interview. All of a sudden there's an extremely raunchy monologue about the week's news.
Insightful jokes about the terrifying world of politics. Like I just feel like, sitting there like, oh, okay. It's like a political Muppet show, which I imagine for a lot of these people, it's like, oh, I didn't know there'd be so much going on.
Yeah, someone next to you is getting into character as Bernie Sanders.
Yes, yeah. And that person is James Adomian. Shout out, friend of the show.
The best.
Here's another question. This is from Girl Friday Afternoon. Because I'm sure Halle would get to read these messages somehow. Halle, you are a brilliant, smart, incredibly funny person.
Oh, man.
And any shred, I didn't write this, any shred of getting to see or hear from you is always my favorite part of a show. We do not deserve your awesomeness. And to Sarah Lazarus, we miss hearing you on What a Weekday so much. One of my favorite games to play while listening to Loli is guessing which jokes Lazarus wrote. Y'all are so fantastic. Thanks for making us laugh. I guess there wasn't a question. That's funny. Don't worry. We got other ones, though.
Well, first of all, a beautiful sentiment. The people love you. The people want more of you. I will say we've had this problem lately. I used to feel like I could tell a Halle joke from a Lazarus joke. And Peter Miller has been writing for the show for a long time. Jocelyn Kaufman's been writing for the show for a long time. I also felt like, I know a Peter joke. I know a Jossie joke after a while. But especially for the three of us, I feel like we've been doing this together so long. There are jokes to me that I'll read and be like, oh, a classic Laz. And it's a Halle special.
It's like the movie, it's John Carpenter's The Thing, where like, you're like, oh, well, that's Lazarus. And it's like, no, it turns out we're all part of one entity. It's just that this part looks like Lazarus right now.
Right. I would say the easiest way to know if I wrote a joke is if you liked it and laughed a lot. That was me.
That's pretty good.
Sure.
That's for sure.
And mine is if you liked it, laughed a lot, and liked it, and then when you thought of it for 1 second, you're like, I don't know if that made sense.
There's a kind of like,
and I'm like, that's fair.
I feel like it's not always the case, but there are kind of an archetypal Lazarus joke. It is like exquisitely constructed. There's a kind of like beauty to its structure, and it's wry. The archetypal Halle joke. So that like so I think like the archetypal Lazarus joke is like a scalpel, and then a Halle joke is like the Kool-Aid man coming through the wall.
No, that feels right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
And like, why is the Kool-Aid man saying, ooh, yeah, so funny? I don't know, but it fucking is.
And together you are the Kool-Aid man wielding a scalpel. The funniest thing we could imagine. Speaking of, we have a question about a specific joke format, and I immediately had, an answer to it, but I'd love to hear your guys' perspective on it. This is from Danger Tom. For a behind-the-scenes question about the joke writing, I've noticed a ton of jokes have this very specific construction of, quote, said blank as he insert description flawlessly evoking the image of the person doing something ridiculous. Are all those written by the same person? I don't see that construction used by anyone else, but they're almost always my favorite jokes on the show. To me, that's a Lovett special. That is your format, and we write to it now.
I write some of those too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But to me, I feel like that isn't my natural format, but you like it, so I've learned to write to it. But to me, that's a Lovett certified classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, there's something about I like it because to me, so much of what Republican politics and even some Democratic politics right now is somebody saying with a straight face some of the stupidest, most irrational, indefensible, idiotic points a person could ever make. And so I find, and obviously on its face, false or hypocritical in some way, or like understating what's happening. And so I find that like the format of just quoting someone while inventing a ridiculous scenario for them to say it fits the moment. And so it is something I go to a lot. And everybody writes that way now, but I find that like when I'm stuck, I will go to that.
And I think we, as we discussed in the other video about our joke writing, if you want to watch that, also on this channel, is we talked about sort of, you will write like a, what Lazarus called the novella, sort of a long descriptive joke. But I think it's because you were evoking an image. Like, I think you write to the image. I think of myself as like an improviser. So I feel like my jokes are improvisational. And then Lazarus, I think it is more like a perfectly executed joke. So I don't know. I like and always want to maintain things that feel like authentic to you as a comedian. And to me, that's one of them for sure.
Yeah,
it's sort of, you like world building.
Yeah.
I do like it's funny because I do think that like there's something very complimentary about the three of us that we came to naturally, which is like there's an intellectual quality to Sarah's joke. I think there's like an emotional quality to mine, and then there's like a chaos to yours, and like together.
Yeah, no, that seems right.
And together, but that's the show.
Yes,
like that really is the show. It's like it's intellectual, it's emotional, and it's chaotic, and I feel like all together that's why I feel like so proud of what we do in the monologue week after week, because I feel like it's a unique tone, and I think it's set because the three of us complement each other so well.
I completely agree.
With the help of very, very excellent writers who also throw in a bunch of great jokes, I should say.
Speaking of, I think this is an interesting question that dovetails with this next one, because this is something I've thought about, and obviously we, write these throughout the week. This is from Wendy. I very much want to know how many jokes you have to throw out because another comedian did them before lowly recorded. How in the world do you stake your claim to a joke or a bit in this time-sensitive production environment? So my response to that is, we can't know, Wendy. So what we have to do, or what I try to do, first of all, if I ever see anything online, any kind of joke, we're not using it. Like even something that is too close, I really stand on, we're not going to rip off like a popular tweet. Like it's never going to happen. But I think to me, to your point, what is so important and why I think both works for the monologue and also I think is important exactly in the situation where it's like, yeah, there's so many jokes and the news cycle moves so quickly, is it does have to be tied to you as a performer, and it has to tie to the show itself. So to me, it's like, in case we're not sure like how to ground it, what would you say? What would Lovett say? What would Lovett do? That to me is very clarifying versus what's a tweet that I may have seen, which is sort of like a more generic idea. I don't know. That's how I think of it.
Yeah, I mean, less even about me specifically and more of like the perspective of the show, which is unique, right? Like I think we have a point of view that is different than any other late night show. And so that means that it's that if we're hitting the target of what we should be doing, like we don't actually overlap too much. Like, I think there are formats or observations that I think are often like the observation of the week, and you have to find a way at it that's at least unique to the show. But do I think another show did a romantic sojourn into two Iranian nuclear scientists stuck beneath the rubble, admitting or failing to admit that they're in love? Like, no, I think that we were able to, we carved out that niche for ourselves.
Not that we got you, Seth Meyers.
I think it also helps that we tend to go deeper into the news than a lot of late night shows. Like Jimmy Fallon is not doing a joke about a line item in the budget bill, in all likelihood.
Yeah, it's like FMAP. More like my GPS isn't working. Like that.
Cut it, please. This is from Sassity, Women of Crooked Stand. I struggle with these types of questions because, as Halle once said, I am God's favorite Etch-a-Sketch, which I believe I said on my podcast, Ruined. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And I no longer remember any given episode once it's over. we have a lot to say about this. I assume some of you are the same way, but you spend perhaps more time speaking into a microphone for audiences than the average person. So my question is, has someone ever told you they love something you said, but you have no memory of saying that thing? And what did you think as they repeated it back to you? Wow, I'm a genius, or that was a tough one. Or was it just, I don't remember, or something in between? I feel like every week, my brain is completely, I feel like I'm in a memento situation. And I think for me, it's both as a writer, like I think that's just part of how my brain functions, but also there is so much news. It's like a garden hose of news clearing my brain out every week, and then we start anew. So if, I believe this has happened where someone said, oh, I love this. I'm like, I couldn't tell you what you're even talking about.
We'll have a meeting where we're going through potential guests, and we'll have like a person that is awesome who we all really like, and we all say, boy, it'd be great to have that person on the show. And then somebody pipes up, they've been on the show.
Yeah.
Pretty recently.
It was 6 weeks ago.
And it's not that we didn't enjoy them. It's that our minds have offloaded that to a part that we're not accessing.
It's like a pasta colander up there. It's just, it all goes straight through.
But we have to in order to create the comedy.
Yeah, well, you got to save a little of that water because it helps it make a nice sauce, a sticky sauce.
Full starch.
The starch.
I haven't been saving it. I do also experience that with jokes where I'll be writing a joke and then I'm like, have we done this exact joke? Have I written this 4 times already?
Didn't something happen where we were going to do like a runner? There was some, you and I, like there was like, wait,
Yes,
we did,
yep.
there was something we were going back and forth with. It's like, oh, we had done.
As we discussed, I forget everything immediately, so I don't know. But
Well, for
that
me,
sounds
I
right.
tried to get in the video of Marv being electrocuted in Home Alone 2, but we have done that before, which I remembered, but was still trying to insist we could do it again. And we can. We just got to let a little leeway. We just can't do it again so quickly. And then we have one more question. It's actually a question from Lazarus and I, which is, could you explain to everyone how you got so much dog piss in your laptop? Because I feel like the people want to know behind the scenes, how did all that pee-pee get in there?
So thank you for this great question. So I was watching a friend's dog. That dog was a Newfoundland, I think over 100 pounds.
Famously loves to pee in laptops.
A Newfoundland puppy. At some point, now that this dog was at Crooked for a week. And by the way, I love having Pundit at the office. Lesson learned. It's tough having a Newfoundland puppy at the office on a work day.
The dog's name is also Martha Stewart, which feels important.
Yeah.
Yes. And so Martha was doing a great job, got a little excited, and had one accident in their week, which is not their fault. They're a wonderful dog.
Hey,
We all have one accident a week.
Absolutely.
But
Mine's happening right now.
this is a huge animal. The dog peed on Pundit's dog bed in my office with John and Tommy. The dog bed is behind my desk. Now, I couldn't conceive of the amount of urine that this dog had produced.
Critical error, yeah.
So I was just going to, honestly, it's an old dog bed. We were throwing it out. And so I was just going to lift the dog bed up to take it out of the office. When I lifted it up, the weight of the pee combined with a little bit of a fold. You know when you have a greasy piece of pizza and you fold it and the oil drips down?
Oh, yeah.
So when I folded the dog bed to lift it up over my desk, a rivulet of urine fell out from the dog bed and just went right into my laptop.
Yeah.
Right into my laptop. And so to this moment, I'm still using it, but half the screen has gone dark.
Yeah.
So I actually have to only use one side of the screen.
Right. It's a fun challenge.
And so then I threw out that dog bed and then wiped down the whole office with chlorine bleach. But I'm still kind of constricted to one side. But I did ask Alex for permission. I said, I've been using this laptop for many, many years. It's finally broken. Can I please just go to the Apple store and replace it? And I did get permission.
Great.
So I will be replacing my laptop.
All right, good.
With respect for the process of laptop purchasing, of procurement policies here at Crooked Media.
I think that's great.
It was weird. All your jokes are about dog piss lately. It's like just infused.
You ever notice that half your laptop screen's not working?
That's all we have. Thank you all for your oddly invasive, extremely insightful questions. If you like this kind of content, then give us a like and a subscribe. And if you want more of this, then head on over to Crooked's Friends of the Pod Discord to link up with your other freaks. Guys, this was so fun.
This was so much fun.
I really appreciate it.
It was so much fun. And I did tell the Indiana Jones story a couple times too many, but part of it is because I don't know when I'm telling it on the microphone or not. Sometimes I'm just talking.
Well, and it's a good point.
Like and subscribe to this channel. It helps us build Crooked Media. It helps us get this in front of more people. It helps support all these wonderful people that make these shows and keep the lights on.
It helps buy new laptops when they get full of dog piss.
It happens every time. All right, well, see you sluts later.
Perspective.